Good evening. Thank y'all for tuning into season 2, episode 28 of the Front Line Blacc News. I'm your host, Che Krumah. I'm joined by my other host, Lady Che.
Can't see you and you're coming in echoey.
I don't know how you can't see me because I can see you. Can you hear me? It's just like frozen. What's going on here? Okay, can you hear me, Lady Che? Lady Che. I guess I can't be heard, Black family. I don't know what to do about that. Let's see.
I can't hear nothing. It's in and out.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Not at all?
Huh?
You can't hear me at all?
Yeah, I hear nothing, but it's echoing and there's like a little static on your end, like like that.
I think it's because we're too close. What
And
about
I
now?
sound like a robot.
What about now? Hey, Brother Zaki's on. Brother Zaki, can you hear me?
Yeah, man. I can hear you
clearly.
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll mute myself.
Okay. On tonight's show, we will be discussing several things. Lady Che is joining us. She's our co-host. And our guest tonight is Brother Zaki. My African brother Zaki is joining us. And on tonight's show, we'll be discussing several things. The first thing we'll be discussing is Tangibles 2022. The next thing is so-called migrants, aka illegal immigrants, dropped off on prominent Democratic officials' places of residence. California Reparations Task Force under attack. Elijah McClain autopsy confirms that ketamine killed him. Colorado becomes first state to accept Bitcoin as payment. Sorry, we're at the Black House today, and the internet is going in and out. Okay, can you still hear me, Brother Zaki?
Yeah, man. I can still hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Colorado becomes first state to accept Bitcoin as payment for taxes. Shout out to the viewer. Lady Che, Zaki said he can hear me clearly, so I don't know what's going on. Black police officer issues complaint against DPD. Unhoused Neighbor News and Unhoused Neighbor Sweeps. Can't hear you, lady.
I can't hear the Queen, but it sounds like her internet is not good.
Yeah, the internet's bad. It's going in and out. I don't know what to do about it. Lady Che, we can't hear you.
I can hear you from the other room. So just carry on, and I'm gonna participate. Like I can hear you through the headphones. But right now it's all choppy and weird. So I'm just listening because I can hear you from the other room, so I know where you're at on the topics and whatnot. So let's proceed.
Okay. Unhoused Neighbor News and Unhoused Neighbor Sweeps. So I'm gonna get it started. The first topic is Tangibles 2022, and that is a trademark here on Front Line Blacc. Not a trademark, regular here on Front Line Blacc News. We're demanding something tangible for our vote. So any politician that's seeking your vote, including myself, because I have officially filed for mayor of Denver, Colorado, and the elections in April of 2023, and including myself, any politician that is seeking your vote, demand something tangible for your vote. Stop just voting just to be voting, Black family. Vote because you have an agenda and a cause. And that agenda is the Black agenda, and that cause is reparations in the form of $100 trillion for past, present, and future atrocities the United States government continues to put our people through in 2022. So I'm gonna bring Lady Che back on. Lady Che, welcome back. We're on Tangibles 20, huh? I just added you. Okay. I just added you.
Okay. See, my bad, my bad. Miscommunication of the Black House, my fault. My bad attention. Tangibles, yeah. As everybody, if you've been paying attention to the new Black media, we're very adamant about hold your vote for something tangible and not symbolic. Extremely adamant about that. And so, obviously, if the politicians are running, they don't have nothing to offer you. Hold your vote, Black people. Hold your vote. I mean, it's not going to be a big thing if both systems implode on themselves. They don't have nothing to offer us right now. Um,
Right.
we initially started with cut the check, no vote, no check, no vote, right? Um, so even with the people that in the city of Denver, they have nothing to offer you, no solidified things that they're asking for your free vote of confidence. Don't vote for them. Um,
Right.
it's all pretty nice little words and all inclusive pictures that show these things, but that's not specifically for Black people. Right here in the
Right.
city of Denver, probably for the first time ever, we're gonna have a candidate on the Black grassroots that is just doing something specifically for Black people and saying it out loud. And it does cause a little pushback, but that's expected. So this is what tangibles is. It looks bad. It probably seems bad to you, but it really isn't. You should want something that is um, accessible, that is going to happen within your time, within a reasonable time frame. Something that you can really expect from someone. Don't take the fact that if they haven't been in office before or anything like that. These are all just programming terms that were put in your mind for a long time to expect something from these political ducks. Now
How much?
things are changing. We're pushing a change. We're pushing a change, and people are getting on board with it, or they're not. But we're gonna
Right.
push this change as far as we can push it to the
Right.
max. So hold your vote until you have something tangible that's specifically for you, not just based on the fact that you're Black, but giving you something that you can grow a future from and not continuously perpetuate the bullshit. That's all I gotta say. Go ahead, brother Zaki.
What are your thoughts on Tangibles 2022, Brother Zaki? Um, I didn't even go over the what it is, but we do
No,
it week.
I mean, I think by now you know you know where I stand. I support my diasporan brothers in making sure that they are owed what is due to them.
Mhm.
There are some people who, unless Black people just enjoy being slaves, they'll just be voting blindly, and it's nothing is done. So if our if our I'm glad that my brother Jesse is starting from the grassroots. And
Mhm.
what I would maybe advise or suggest is educate the people, teach
Yeah.
the people on what these tangibles can do, why we are going for tangibles, and because some people may just not really know the purpose of it, so it's good to educate them, so that they're not scared or misguided or things like that, because it can be a new thing for some people. Have never heard of that kind of concept, so
Okay,
better.
so can you see the screen? Is it sharing? No, it's not sharing. Okay, let me put this back
No,
up.
it's not sharing.
Okay, is it sharing now?
No, I can't see the screen now.
Okay. So back in 2020, brother by the name of Tariq and She came up with the hashtag Tangibles 2020. And he was talking about the presidential elections, and now we have the midterms coming up. So we're going to change 2020 presidential elections to the midterm. 2022 midterm elections are coming up. The 2022 midterm elections are coming up, and foundational Black Americans are going to reject the 50-year-old malign neglect policy that has been implemented by the political system. This malign neglect policy mandates that Black Americans should be ignored and only mentioned in vague and non-specific terms, lumping foundational Black Americans into groups with minorities, immigrants, people of color, etc., has only hindered the progress of Black Americans as a group while providing tangible benefits for other groups. In this election cycle, Black Americans are going to insist that our needs are specifically met by politicians who are seeking our vote. Foundational Black Americans want tangible benefits, specifically for us. We do not want trickle down, secondary benefits that are provided for every group. Every group has not been systematically marginalized, disenfranchised in every area of society as foundational Black Americans. So we refuse to be lumped in with groups that are often assisting the exploitation and disenfranchisement of Black Americans. So politicians must offer tangibles, specifically the foundation of Black Americans, or we simply will not vote for them. Be sure to spread this message far and wide on social media using the hashtag Tangibles2020. And since it's 2022, it's now Tangibles2022. So that's the rundown of what Tangibles is about, Black family. So any politician not seeking your vote demand some tangible for your vote. I don't know why it's not sharing. I could have sworn it was sharing. Okay, now it's sharing. Yeah, so I just read this, Black family. So as Lady Chase said, demand something tangible for your vote. Period. Midterms are coming up. The Democrats are freaking out. They don't know what they're gonna do. They are on the verge of losing the House and the Senate, and so be it. Like Lady Chase said, we don't care if both of the parties collapse. We don't give a damn because ain't neither one of these parties offering us anything tangible. So until a party is offering us something tangible, don't vote for them. It's as simple as that. So we got to send a clear and direct message to these Democrats, especially, that you're not going to continue to take our votes for granted. You're not just going to keep using us for our numerical value and then abandoning us during our time of need. Them days are over. Did anybody have anything else to add on Tangibles 2022?
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to watch it all fail with it right now. The way it's looking is Democrats got way too comfortable. They expected the black vote. The black vote is kind of sitting it down and sitting in the back. So then to compensate for the black vote, they had all, they've been basically systematically moving and shifting around all these immigrants that are, they can claim white or proceed as white in this country, shifting them around to all the sanctuary, quote unquote, sanctuary cities to even out the numbers. But they were so quick, let I say this again, so quick to send the Haitians back.
Yeah.
So quick. Like they didn't even give them a chance. They just sent them right back. They were here for a few days and sent them right back. But they managed to shift all of these um, uh, Hispanics, Russians, Ukrainians, Afghanistanians, uh, anybody that's here illegally that was sitting in Texas. They managed to shift them all around the United States over a matter of 3 months to even out the numbers that they know they're not going to be getting from the black vote. That's probably the secret thing that nobody's even talking about. And I feel like it's because they said, well, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, we'll give you this. But on the next paper, on the next census, or when we start doing the numbers, you must claim white. You must claim that you're white to keep the numbers moving around, and that'll overshadow the lack of black votes. You know what I mean? And so I feel like this black family, let them do that. That's probably the secret plot, and let them do it. However, why vote for a system that has repeatedly shit on us for like God knows how many fucking decades? They're not giving us nothing. There's nothing specifically for black people. Uh, and we'll carry on these topics that are not specifically for black people. Currently tonight in Frontline Black News with like at least two of these topics that are coming up. It is basically another slap in the face to black people. And at this point, it's just like our brother Zaki said, it's you unless you're comfortable being a slave. You know what I mean? And we are. Apparently, there's a lot of comfort going on, and nobody wants to be uncomfortable or aware, or they don't want to learn, they don't want to listen, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody can go with us, I guess. Even though we want to take you with us, you can't take you with you. Can't take you with us if you're not willing to at least open your mind and educate yourself.
Right. Right.
So this is where the education comes in, because the sister said something very, very deep,
Facts.
which allowed, she said something to the fact that immigrants have been basically part of the black exploitation.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at the Italians, the Irish that came into this country,
Yeah.
actually they were not considered black. They were actually doing like Italian on Italian crimes,
Mm-hmm.
But then the U.S. government was like, our the whites, the native whites, are not producing as fast.
Yeah.
So they basically incorporated the Italians, the whites, the Irish, those who were not considered Anglo-Saxon. They incorporated them into their society.
Yep.
So all that stopped, and they were able to
It became
move up.
honorary Caucasians.
Exactly. But when you see because black on black crime is not it's not new. The only thing is that the U.S. government doesn't want to end that situation like they did the Italians when they were doing their Italian crime to Italian
Yeah.
crime. When the Irish were doing their Irish crime to Irish crime, they were doing crime on each other. The Jews were also doing that too.
Yep.
But for some reason, when it comes to black on black crime, the American government is like confused. So going back to the initial point or the agenda of tangibles for the foundational blacks,
Mm-hmm.
it's there needs to be some kind of more than just tangibles, but some kind of revolution to basically allow and mobilize black upward mobility.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, we'll just be in a vicious cycle where we're just repeating history. Nothing gets done. If blacks are thinking that Democrats are on their side, then they obviously don't know their own history, because the same Democratic Party was actually the one that was instrumental into the Jim Crow's institution of Jim Crow laws.
Yep.
It was the so-called Republican Party that the party of Abraham Lincoln that freed the slaves, so-called, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But by and large, the Democrats are basically a deceiving, conniving people
Yep.
that think that you would think that, they support minorities, they support blacks, but in reality they have no interests You know, it's we're I don't know
Use that
if we're
bullshit
illiterate.
ambiguous language.
Mm-hmm. So
So to your point too, and like it's just like we heard today, Jesse, on one of our podcasts, where the message was kind of received that it almost needs to happen to where we have to have a like a like a black civil war.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's almost in that direction.
Yep.
You know, and that would make the point. It is almost like, is that really what it had to come to for things to shift in the right direction? You know, like another rebellion, or you see what I'm saying? Um,
that's a
probably
very good
flag our
point.
shit like they usually do. But that's what we heard today. There was a message received from, one of our well known black media talking points. But it's very serious because at this point in time, where every state is suffering behind the government, and we put them in that place, and we only have ourselves to really blame. And
Right.
now we have to take that control back. And the even if we take the control back, there's a small amount of people that are going to take that control back because they have to, or else the state will continue to eat its people alive, basically,
Yeah.
You made a very good point. So I don't know if I said this to one brother, you know, because sometimes it's hard for our people to be of one mind, of one goal, of one agenda, of one purpose,
One aim.
one aim. Exactly. You before you can go to war with the white man, you must first go to war with the black man.
Yeah, you gotta go.
That's
You gotta go to war with the coons.
that's as simple as that. And it's I love going back to the Haitian Revolution, but
Yes,
before they could even go to war with the French,
they dealt with
do you
the
know
coons.
do you know how many so-called house Negroes they killed? It was in the thousands.
Yep.
Hmm? Otherwise, that would be a different
Yeah,
story.
you said it to us, brother Zaki on Shabaka's
Oh,
Black Experience Enhanced. It was us. You got to
okay.
kill your
Yeah,
inner cracker. I used that the other day. that
you have to
was that was inspiring.
you have to kill the cracker in you first.
Right.
Exactly. It starts with self. You must first
Yes.
kill the cracker in you. Then after you do that, you must first go to. Then the second thing is to go to war with the black man because he too has the disease of
Yeah.
the cracker in them too, and it's plaguing our people, not just foundational Black Americans, but I'm sorry, it's all over the continent of Africa and the Caribbean. We
Yeah.
have been completely
Call them
destroyed. It's not
Panthers.
even funny.
We
You
call them
know.
Panthers. They come over here and they're here to undermine us. They're not here to help us. They're not riders
Let me
like Saki. They're
let
not.
me talk about that because the let me paint a picture here. Maybe it will maybe create some kind of understanding between both sides of the Atlantic.
Uh huh.
This is one big plantation.
Yep.
America is basically
The
uh,
movement.
a plantation where the black people here in America are in what is called they're very close to the whites because this is their white country. But the
Mm-hmm.
blacks from other parts of the world, we have our own plantations in regards to the fact that the Europeans created plantations inside Africa and Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
And those plantations are not working for the benefit of us. So what do we do is we leave the so-called plantations, the so-called African borders that were created by Europeans, and seek better opportunities in another plantation called America
Mm-hmm.
and all those other places. And the mentality is such that, oh, I'm going to America, I have opportunity, and before you know it, it's not what you think.
Yep.
The so-called immigrants from Africa that are looking down on black people,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that are highly educated. Let me focus on them because this is for you. If you guys are watching, this is for you.
Right.
You guys who are highly educated, went to one of the best schools in Europe and all that. It comes down to nothing because you can't even you can't even help your own people back home. You come here and the only thing you're utilized is to help the white folks. You know, you can't even, and at the end of the day, they don't see you any different. You know, you just have a high education with high degrees, and you're just a very, you're you're of no use to your own people. That's what that one book, I forget who wrote it, the
Okay.
Miseducated of the Negro.
Miss
Exactly.
Nigga.
They, they're
Yeah.
so highly educated
Uh,
that, you know, and it's by design.
that
It's
was
by
Carter.
design, you know.
Carter
So
Woodson.
exactly. That's thank you. So the so-called highly educated black immigrants that are, you know, they of course they will look down on the local blacks in their own land. The
Uh,
blacks in their own land that are not, they didn't have opportunity to go to school. They're already looking down on them. Oh, he didn't go to school. Now they're coming to United States or whatever, Canada, and they're looking down on the blacks who have been oppressed. They didn't have opportunity to go to school. It's the same thing, same idea. You just we're just making a mockery of each other at the end of the day.
yeah.
So
Facts. Thank you, Brother Zaki, for
That's
bringing that up.
that's terrible behavior too. I mean, like you think that because you got like if you're in your own country, like if I look at it like this, even in the United States, right? I look at it like this: the same situation is we have people that have like a limited education, like me, or they grew up in ugly circumstances, whatever, right? And we look at people who have education, employment, they have automobile, they have bank account, they have job, they have house, they got family, they got children, they got husband, wife, whatever. We look at them, I look at them like you're throwing it in our face, but this is just the way your cards were dealt. But you're no better than the one that was living the life outside, who's probably richer or more, has more substance, more depth, more value, because they've had to come from this lifestyle. So they look at everything from both ways. Like this can't be that good if it's making you like this, you
Mm,
know. And
it all
if
goes
you
back down
can't
to the
take that
foundation.
home, yeah, you can't take that home and take care of your mother and father, or build something that you left. What are you really doing with it except flaunting it and putting yourself in this hostility type of way, same thing like that. It's same thing in other countries. The same thing like that out here. When you got the people that didn't have the same means or didn't have the same opportunities, we look at them and then we were like, hell no. Like look at what they're doing with such a privilege, because it's a privilege to have those things. You know, it's a privilege to be able to go to school and to be able to find a good job and be able to make those things. Those are privileges. Those are things that you had to go get. Now you got the privilege of keeping it, privilege of holding it, privilege of having it. So there's no way to just be throwing it in the worst. You do it in the people's face, the people that have nothing, that fight, 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 so you could have that. You know what I
Remember,
mean?
remember, it's a privilege that can be taken too. Keep that in mind.
Right. It's a privilege that can be
It's a
taken
privilege
back.
that can be taken because of all the education. One day you go to your fancy corporate job or whatever job you have that's paying you, and all of a sudden now that job is ended. What are you going to do now? As a black man, whether you are a black immigrant or a foundational black American who has made it to the top, once that job is gone, what do you
you,
fall? What do
you,
you have to fall under?
shit, you gonna hit rock bottom. You
Hmm?
gonna be in the food line. You gonna be in the food
That
bank line. You gonna
and
be
and and to
government assistance or applying for
that,
government assistance.
that's exactly right. So all those it's at the end of the day it's a complete delusion. And
Yeah,
then I'll say this and then I'll go. The education, the so-called people who are getting their degrees, at the end of the day, if you're a black man and you're relying on that kind of education, you're lost. It's over for you because you've been miseducated. You know,
yeah,
there's three things, there's three stages to the demise of the Negro. The first is the miseducation. They are miseducated and they stay in that place. The next stage is When you tell them, hey, bro, hey, sister, you've been miseducated, here's the information, then they are what we call anti-education, a real
Mm-hmm.
education that will help them with knowledge of self,
Uh-huh.
with what Brother Jesse is doing with tangibles
Right.
and claiming what you are owed. That's
Right.
the anti-education of the Negro. Then
Yeah.
the final stage that's completely hopeless is the diseducation. That means they're complete distance. They don't
Oh,
want nothing to do with their own knowledge of self, knowledge of progress, tangibles, whatever Brother
man.
Jesse and the Queen is doing, they are complete distant and anti.
They just
So
go with the Kardashians.
that's right. Prime example amongst a a galaxy of people that are like that. But uh, I think I'll sign off. Very good topic on tangibles and making sure that at least the aspirants on this side of the world are waking up to the call for reparations, more than just reparations, a complete revolution in
Yes.
Black world upward mobility. So keep it up, my brother. You have my full
Yeah.
support.
Thank you.
Thank you, brothers. I keep for constantly bringing some serious points that that need to be said out loud, and that we utilize in this political campaign. We use some of these points that you bring up because
Wow,
um no real shit.
thank you.
Really, I use them when I'm building certain things for Mr. Paris. I use them because they're very valuable to the people that are not as on code or educated like this, or
Ah,
that don't even see this happening right in front of them. And so I use a lot of the stuff that you bring out because if I never heard it, and it's if I receive it, and if I receive it and I know it to be true because I've educated myself and I know what you say is true, and I managed to push that one piece out the way. I got to bring that back in, and I ponder it and re throw some introspective on it so that I can be able to um hear Jesse when I'm typing up whatever he wants me to say. It's adding to that so that the people can get the full analysis of this actual serious agenda that is for their own good. Okay,
Right.
it is for their good, for their own future well-being and their children,
that's
children,
right.
children, children in this lifetime. Okay, so it's not like something that's for 20 years down the line. It's supposed to be right now, right now. And so I just want to tell you thank you because I use a lot of the things you say as I just hear you say it out loud because they they ring true. And
Right.
so I just want to tell you thank you. You have a
Thank you
good
so
night.
much. I appreciate you. One love, you too. God bless you. Sisters be with you.
Thank you, Brother Zaki. That was Brother Zaki. Shout out to Brother Zaki. Always dropping that knowledge and doing some straightening. He's definitely gonna be doing straightening of the tethers that are being brought over to this country. But we're gonna be moving on to the next topic, and that is so-called migrants, aka illegal immigrants, dropped off on prominent Democratic officials' places of residence. One being Kamala Harris, your vice president, uh, DeSantis and Abbott, Governor DeSantis of Florida and Governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, are dropping off migrants. They're calling them migrants. They're really illegal immigrants um, to parts of the Northeast DC, mainly Martha's Vineyard. That's up in New York or Massachusetts, um, and other surrounding areas. So we're gonna go over that real quick. I have an article, and I think it has a video with it. This is a real short article, so I'm just gonna read that real quick. Let me share the screen. Hold on, Lady Che. Two busloads of migrants from Weber. Two busloads of migrants dropped off near Vice President Harris' residence. There they go. Migrants from Central and South America wait near the residence of U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris after being dropped off on September 15, 2022 in Washington, D.C. And the article goes on to say, two buses of migrants from the U.S.-Mexico border were dropped off near Vice President Kamala's home in residential Washington on Thursday morning in the bitter political climate over the Biden administration's immigration policies. It wasn't immediately clear when Republican leader had sent them. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has been busing migrants out of Texas to cities with Democratic mayors as part of a political strategy. This year, because he claims there are too many arrivals over the border to his state. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey also has adopted this policy, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis also got in on the act immediately or recently. It was first dreamed up by former President Donald Trump. About 24 men and women stood outside the U.S. Neighbor Observatory at noon, clutching clear plastic bags of their belongings brought with them over the border before moving to a nearby church. Harris's office had no immediate comment. After excuse me, Black. I'm like coughing. I think it's these pistachios. After migrants seeking asylum across the U.S.-Mexico border, they spent time in the U.S. Customs and Border Protection facility along the border until they were generally released into the U.S. to wait out their cases. Republicans say Biden's policies encourage migrants to vanish into the United States. Democrats argue that Trump-era policy of forcing migrants to wait out their asylum cases in Mexico was inhumane. DeSantis flew 2 planes of immigrants to Martha's Vineyard on Wednesday, and last week Abbott sent about 75 migrants to Chicago. Wow. Okay, end of that article. What are your thoughts, Lady Che?
Well, like when I covered this on the RVA, I've been fucking DeSantis is a goddamn villain, okay? But he's an amusing villain. His little speech I covered, I thought that shit was pretty funny. Why? Because the fucking borders have not been secure for God since I've been alive. Ever. Second, how can they be secure now? They're not. The fucking wall isn't even finished. Matter of fact, everybody's gonna have to be getting their money back for each brick that has a name on it. Okay, it's fucking stupid. Secondly, this is like just like how I just stated a few minutes ago. This is like this is like another fucking plot thinking scheme. DeSantis said DeSantis basically said we everybody wants to come to Florida, but this is not what we want. Second, he is like he said we are not a sanctuary city. Everybody has to handle their burdens, right?
Mm.
So he took all the so since Abbott over there's been shifting these fucking migrants around, right? It's been everybody's shifting them back and forth. Ultimately, it's gonna have to even out the black numbers of these voters, right? So they promised them all kind of shit. DeSantis said that they told the people, when they got there, the Venezuelan immigrants, they got on the bus and went over there to motherfucking Martha's Vineyard, right?
Yeah.
Said we were promised a place to live, food, and work and school.
Mm.
Basically, it had a whole folder with them dialoguing their promises, which DeSantis said he didn't promise none of that shit. They didn't promise nothing. They so he just put them on the plate. This has been going on for months and months. Okay, this started going on when there was topics of is New York over with?
Mm.
Look what's happening in California,
Mm.
right? This has been going on for months and months, where the United States people are shifting they're either shifting out of the country little by little and going to places like California or Mexico, and they're going from California to Mexico and deeper in there and living their best lives, okay? Or they're shifting all the black immigrants out, like when they got here, like the Asians. They were so quick to send them back. I mean, fucking immediately. You're talking about these motherfuckers that they're shifting around now, are brand new, and they're not. A lot of them are not. A lot of them are not black Venezuelans.
Mhm.
A lot of them are fair or medium colored, like Venezuelan people, or they're mixed in with Texans or mixed in with Mexicans or whatever. Either way, Either way, he put him on a bus and he shipped it to the front door. That was a message. That was like, if your border's secure, that's laughable. That shit's been laughable.
It is laughable.
They've been coming in and out this country for, like I said, as long as I've been alive. And they're again like something you give them a little something. They make their way, and then they throw it back in your face, and there's more anti-black animosity going on.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't believe me, in the city of Denver, be black and go outside and be around like our areas like East Colfax and just be walking up and down the street, and you see how Hispanic people treat you.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fucking fact, I can speak on it because I and my family moving around the city. I and my family, I'm probably the lightest one in the car moving around the city, park on the side of the road to fuss with the CD player because you don't want to fuss with the CD player while you're driving, right? So for obeying laws, pull over to the side of the road, fuss with the CD player, so not driving and messing around. It cause accidents. That's pretty reasonable to understand. Pull up on the side of a restaurant that has outdoor patio. It's about 10 o'clock at night, no big deal. You see people outside, like Hispanic people. I refer to them as Chicanos or whatever Hispanic people are called in Denver that aren't from Mexico. Chicanos, we'll call them that.
Yeah.
Be outside and they have the audacity to mug a whole car full of black people. Me included, family. Right? Whole car full of black people. Be mugging and acting like we're not supposed to be parked right there for 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there's no signs indicating nobody can't pull up right there. There's no non-parking signs. There's no tollway zone part. Everything in the logical mindset is okay for us to pull over to the side of the road to fuss with something in the car before proceeding on, so there's no accidental fucking mishaps on the road. Okay, in our mind, they're looking at it like, how dare you pull up in a fucking fly ass motherfucking brand new Cadillac,
Mm-hmm.
listening to music and pull up like that, roll the window down and sit there quietly with your engine off, fussing around in your car. How dare you? We didn't even start no funk, but didn't mean that we wouldn't end it.
Right.
So that we pulled up, we're minding our own business. People start on these people think they have a sense of entitlement. these white Hispanic people now. I don't know if they got a memo secretly and we didn't know about it. I'm sorry, family. I'm very sick. Um, that we didn't know about this mass memo that went out. All of a sudden, it says treat black people like they ain't shit.
Mm.
But here we're noticing it, and we don't like it, and we're not afraid to fucking say fuck you, fuck no, fuck that. That ain't gonna happen. Not today, not on our watch. Type
Right.
shit. Where you think you get this entitlement from, and that's how that it was about to end in a very ugly encounter. But our stance was we're just changing our CD. We're not bothering anybody. There's nothing that says we can't pull up here. What if we were an Uber driver or something? Why don't you mind your own business? And then it escalates. It escalates because since when do you look at us like we don't belong somewhere? Right? Like we're not allowed to maneuver on our neighborhoods, our areas, just because you're here now. So we're seeing shit like that. Black people are really seeing it now. If they're in the United, like right now in the United States, just go outside and be outside for about 2-3 hours and look at how they look at you versus 10 years ago when you looked at them, and see if I'm not lying. So I say that to say this: the shifting around of these immigrants that will accept the fucking accept the assistance, accept whatever's given to them, and will go ahead and co-sign on that white census report and be able to, because now it's certain, like, look, right, you can vote in certain areas, right, if you've only been there a handful of months, like in Texas or some shit. I don't remember, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they talked about it at some point that they might be able to vote, right? Now you're looking at it where DeSantis said, if you have a sanctuary city, you're taking some of this burden.
Mm.
Those are the immigrants. The border's been wide open. Those immigrants are coming in, but we also got refugees that are coming in as well. I made this point on city council last week, Monday. We're going to end up, well, we're not going to end up. What happens is these people will take priority over the natural unhoused of that state.
Mm.
Over the native unhoused people that live there, that have been unhoused, that are struggling. Those people are not going to get the help that they need because of the misappropriation of funds. But there's going to be specific monies and specific help going to these refugees and these immigrants because we have so-called sanctuary city. We've already started receiving people over the last few months. You see what I'm saying? Do I think it's funny? Yeah, it's quite amused. And I think it's a serious thing. It's a serious thing for them. It's going to end up being that, okay, black people, you don't want to vote? Fuck it. We got someone to replace your numbers. It doesn't matter at the end of the day because black people have to figure, we got to stand on our fucking square.
Yep.
Simple as that. Okay? Go ahead, Jesse.
Okay.
I'm done.
Thanks for that. Move us on to our next topic, and that is a California Reparations Task Force is under attack. Dum, dum, dum. So, for those that don't know, California passed the Reparations Task Force. Gavin Newsom, governor of California, Nancy Pelosi's nephew, passed the bill known as AB 3121, which is going to create a Reparations Task Force to study and potentially give out payments, cash payments, to descendants of American child slavery. And now that is under attack, Black family. They are trying to do away with the eligibility clause, which states that only those that can trace their lineage back to the killing fields of chattel slavery of the South should be eligible for the reparations. They're trying to make it a free-for-all and saying that if you're black, you should get it. because you suffer from institutional racism and redlining, so you should get it. No, boo boo. You just got here. You decided to come to this country, this white supremacist country, because you thought that you, like Brother Zaki said, you was gonna have all this opportunity, and then you seen you didn't have the complexion for the protection. So now you want to go on and tell us we need to do better. We just need to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. And we need to get reparations too. No, boo boo. No reparations for you. If you want reparations, you need to sue your colonizer. You're suing ours, you should do the same. So if the British colonize you, then go sue the British. And if the French colonize you, then go sue the French, and so on and so forth. That's what we say here on Front Line Blacc News. Sue your colonizer. So we're gonna get to the this article that came out. I believe it was today. Because there was a hearing today, and there was a hearing yesterday. And I called into the hearing yesterday, and they didn't let me speak. This is the second
Were you
time.
able to call into the hearing today?
No, I wasn't able to call in today.
I forgot that there was a hearing today. Because yesterday the hearing was so live, people were so upset. And by all means, family, you should be very upset. I come from California, and I'm looking at it like, man, they already made a decision. I don't even understand why it's taking so motherfucking long. But the fact that they keep saying, hurry up and wait, and there's still active discussion over over lineage and all black people. Not all black people are equal. Not all black people are on the same page. Um, and that there really wasn't after they said what they said initially. Why is there any more debate? There's so much that they had to. There's so much on that last little meeting of the task force that I felt was like I could understand why people were so goddamn irate. I mean, me and you were listening to it while we were doing while we were traveling. I was listening to you go off in the back trying to get on and call, and I'm
Yeah.
like, why is this so fucking, why is this like this? Like, why you already kind of, you already said that, you already made your statement. You already said you were gonna accept it this way. It's gonna be lineage based to to the people of chattel slavery. I don't know what the fucking dialogue is. Why did it take 5 motherfucking months to come back and approve minutes from April? Like, it's just fucking ridiculous. Like a show, and then for them to just keep being upset that the people are upset. Well, goddamn right, man. Like I keep saying, how long do the people have to wait? How long do the people have to wait? You know, and it's a reality. It's coming to a head, and what they don't understand is that this will and is gonna happen, and it is
Yeah.
gonna happen in our lifetime, not in our children's lifetime. You
Right.
know, that's not the point. It has to happen. The point is now. You know. Go
Yeah.
ahead, carry on. I'm sorry.
So they're trying to delay it another year and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm gonna play this video real quick. This is from ABC 7 out of Los Angeles.
Got no sound. I can see the screen.
Task Force is California
Does it sound
Reparations
now?
Task Force is holding a 2-day
Yes, sir.
public hearing on the group's historic initial report that looked at why reparations are needed. Ultimately, the task force will work toward what reparations could look like if the state legislature creates a law that would provide them. Eyewitness News reporter Leo Stallworth has the details.
Put your hand up if you are a descendant of U.S. slavery. If you are a descendant of U.S. slavery, put your hand up. Keep your hand up and say reparations.
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 Descendants of U.S. slavery, the people behind me that built this country, that's who reparations is for.
Right.
The California Reparations
That's right.
Task Force holding 2 days of hearings here at the California Science Center to talk about its initial report. It's the first of its kind in the nation report.
We're looking at not only the
what caused slavery, but more important, the impact slavery has had on African Americans. So the first report went out in June.
State Assemblyman Reginald Jones Sawyer is a member of the California Reparations Task Force. He says the 2 days of hearings allows the public to weigh in on the different aspects of reparations.
The initial report was stated why we need reparations. The next phase is what is reparations? Is it closing the wealth gap, education gap, criminal justice system? There's about 13 different topics.
California is the only state that is hosting reparations task force meetings. This to get information out to the community and hear their input on why reparations are important.
Harriet Tubman we got right here.
UCLA student Milagro Jones attending the hearings.
It's time for our government to do what's right and to do what's ethical and to be morally responsible.
This hearing is very important because it's keeping the issue of reparations alive.
Ultimately, on June 30th,
It's cutting in and out.
on time, we're going to have a final report with all the recommendations for reparations. I've been told that on the federal level and each state, they're waiting for us to produce our report. That this could be the blueprint for what other states will do. That's why this is so significant.
Leo Stallworth, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay. So that's that article.
My thing is, okay, I can hear it echoing in the back. All right, my thing is this: cash payments.
Yes.
That was number one. FBA said cash payments.
Mhm.
Starts with cash payments. You know, and then you got land reparations. Yeah, you should clear some of this motherfucking debt. There's a lot of things you should do just for now. Not to mention you got repair, right? You got trauma, the constant traumas that we're subjected to every day. But we're not just talking about the present traumas. You're talking about past trauma, past benign neglect, past atrocities. Those need to be repaired. Yes, money will probably help. Money's the first thing. Cash payments are the first. That right there is a sign of the olive branch. You're taking this shit seriously. Cut the check.
Period.
Figure out the math per eligible foundational Black American. They can chase their lineage back to chattel slavery. Okay, you got to figure out the math. Cut that first fucking check. You don't see the government don't got a problem cutting the check for anyone else or any other identity group. We'll talk about like with the LGBTQ, and they have certain elements like if they were supposed to marry or their mate died, somebody got reparations there. Remember,
Yeah.
Asians, we're funding a whole motherfucking war damn there.
Yeah, what's crime?
You know what I mean? So they don't got a problem giving up land and education and money to quote unquote in Native American indigenous individuals, right? We're not talking about Black indigenous, we're talking about Native Americans. Okay? They don't got a problem giving them land or money to create whole fucking communities on their reservations. They don't think like that for us. You see what I'm saying? They don't think like that for us. They don't think outside the box. What they're talking about is then you got motherfucking you got coons talking about what people are gonna do when they get the money.
Yeah.
Mind your fucking business. That person's prerogative. But that doesn't mean they're not owed.
Right.
And it doesn't mean everybody's gonna do some knucklehead type shit.
Right.
Sometimes people will grow up and they'll see that there's something they need to build or they need to create or they need to leave behind as legacy or whatever. We don't even think in the terms of legacy anymore. Legacy would be something you left to your children to create wealth or to create something that they, if all else failed, they had left they could live in. live on, or you know what I mean? We don't even think like that anymore because of all the visual, audio, media trauma we're suffering, not to mention the physical outward shit we're suffering every day. We're being poisoned and toxic, poisoned in our minds every fucking day with the shit we see. So it weighs heavy on us, and we seem to forget the main initial things that we're here for. You know what I mean? And I don't think that I don't think that. Look, I think that any pushback to this task force is fucked up. I don't even think they should be allowed to speak because the pushback's been there for decades and generations. The pushback has been there. We don't need the pushback. We need the force, the positive momentum, the fucking logistics of it all. You know, it starts with cash payments first,
Right.
to eligible foundational Black Americans in indigenous that could chase their fucking their lineage back for real, for real. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's what it starts with, and then start figuring out shit. I don't want to hear free education, because I think education should be free. I kind of
Mhm.
think about, like, that one dude said that the colleges need to pick up some of this tab
Yeah.
for people that have great fucking college debt. You know what I mean? I kind of think like that because I feel like they've been buku rich, while motherfuckers put themselves in extreme amount of debt and eat top ramen for 6 years while they're just breaking up the money.
Mm,
You know
mm,
what
mm. Yep.
I mean? That's just my opinion. I think that the outrage was perfectly acceptable and it should have got worse. And so basically just threw a chair or something. Should have got worse because that task force, yeah, you mean well, but it's just like here in Colorado where we're talking about Team Paris and what he's writing on that. We think about creating something here. It's just like the one that said they put a thing together, right, Jesse?
Yep.
Right? You learned about it today.
Yes.
And I'm already tearing it apart because I feel like yeah, it's a good start, I guess, but it's not what for when you first thing you see is all inclusive shit, then you kind of know that it's not for specifically for Black people. And reparations is for foundational Black Americans. Yes, sue your colonizer. Your queen died. Get on it. Get on it. Start separating yourselves.
Yeah.
Sue your colonizers. You need help, fucking write to somebody, fucking somebody guide you through it. Do the math. But your queen died.
Yeah.
Don't cry for that, bride. Their queen died. South Africans, go get your diamond back. You know
Same
what I mean?
her.
Just for starters.
I feel the same way about her, like a Betty White. May she rest
Yeah,
in
there
peace.
was, dude. When our brother Tariq Nasheed showed them people crying over the queen. I was just waiting for it. I've been waiting for it. It's like Black people in hysterics over the queen. Did I was like, audacity! What is wrong with you? South
Right.
Africans, go get your goddamn diamond back.
We'll get
Go
your
get your
diamond back.
diamond back.
Him back.
Yep.
We'll get
Take your
all your.
start with the diamond though. Go overthrow some shit and take your diamond back. She's been rocking with that diamond in her motherfucking crown this whole time. Oh my god, the undermining.
Yeah. The least they can do is take the stolen gold and jewelry back to Africa.
Yeah, they can do a whole bunch of shit they need to make right, and it's not a joke, man. You think that foundational Black Americans, motherfuckers out there, aren't watching what's going on abroad, and the Queen died and how everybody's handling it. Don't wait for the next generation. Step up now. Fuck it, while the fucking pan is hot. Strike while the shit is hot and getting adjusted. Yeah, it's gonna take a minute, and I also don't think that it has to take that long. I think if you really want something to happen, you'll find a way to force it to happen immediately because it's important. It's important. It's important. It's so fucking important that we all get liberated from the system and the oppressor. Don't cry no more. That broad is gone. I didn't cry. Did you cry?
Nope.
I would not. I would not cry.
Not at all. I didn't
No, we
say
didn't laugh too hard when you did.
I said fine, good riddance.
Yeah, man. That's over with, family. It's over with. Just because the king is there, look at it like that guy is a weak point. Strike while the skillet is hot. Hey, what's the next one, Jesse?
All right, so I'm moves on to our next topic, Black family, and that is Elijah McClain autopsy confirms the ketamine killed him. Confirms that the ketamine killed him. So here on Front Line Blacc News and on a previous platform before Front Line Blacc News, we were discussing the Elijah McClain case and the ramifications of it and how this brother was killed, this young brother was killed by the hands of APD, or a police department, who decided to inject him with ketamine after putting him in a carotid chokehold. So now the autopsy has been released, and it says that he had died from them injecting ketamine into his system. So I'm gonna put that article up real quick. I think there's a video that goes with it too.
This is shout out to Mile High News. Your previous thing. Shout out to them. This is what everybody knew that this was the truth. That the sedative killed him, and it's not like I had said that they've been using that shit up in the jails for a minute, and now they're trying to change things. But I'll let you read this article. I have a question after this in regards to it.
Okay. So this is from NBC News, and it says Elijah McClain's death caused by ketamine injection. Amended autopsy report says the 23-year-old Black man died a week after he was stopped by the police in Colorado and sedated by paramedics. Here's the video. Oh, there's nothing sound with it. Interesting. There's no sound.
There's nowhere on the article there's nowhere on the video.
It's either muted. Oh, it's muted. That's what it is.
Quote, higher than recommended for his weight.
Okay, here we go.
Complications of ketamine administration following forcible restraint.
Yeah, it's muted. That's what it is. Okay, you should be able to hear it now.
According to the Adams County coroner, in a 12-page amended autopsy report, the coroner said she changed the cause of death because of body camera video and witness statements that were received after the initial autopsy report was completed. The amended report concludes that the dose of ketamine the paramedics gave McClain was, quote, higher than recommended for his weight, and that Mr. McClain would most likely be alive but for the administration of ketamine. As far as the neck hold that police placed McClain in, the report says that while McClain was under, quote, physiological and emotional stress during the course of his restraint, there was no evidence of, quote, trauma or lethal asphyxiation sufficient to cause death, and that he likely would have recovered if he did not receive the injection of ketamine.
The cause of death is now determined to be complications of ketamine administration, which is not the same thing as ketamine poisoning.
9 News legal analyst Scott Robinson says the amended report appears to bolster the defense of the 3 Aurora police officers charged with McClain's death.
It certainly helps the officers far more than it helps the paramedics, who, after all, are the individuals who administered the ketamine and decided to go.
Okay, so that was the video.
It's the best sound in the world.
I mean, in the beginning of the art of that first video, it said she changed the autopsy. That right there. I mean, like, wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it says Aurora, Colorado, an amended autopsy report released Friday reveals that Elijah McClain, a 23-year-old black man who died after a confrontation with uh, police officers, died because he was injected with ketamine by paramedics after being forcefully restrained. I believe this tragic fatality is most likely the result of ketamine toxicity. The report said, adding uh, adding McClain received a higher doses of sedative than he should have. Simply put, this dosage of ketamine was too much for this individual, and it resulted in an overdose. The matter of McClain's death is undetermined, according to the amended report. The original autopsy report, signed November 7, 2019, said McClain's cause of death cannot be determined, but new information that emerged during the grand jury investigation prompted the state attorney general's office to order a second autopsy. The opinions rendered were based on information available at that time. Since then, this office has received additional material for review, including extensive body camera footage, witness statements, and additional records, the report said. It is worth noting that these materials have been requested prior to release of the initial autopsy, but the material was either not provided to us or not provided to us in their entirety. The amended report comes 1 month after Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser announced that two police officers, one former police officer, and two paramedics in Denver suburb of Aurora had been indicted and would be charged with one count each of manslaughter. That's bullshit. They should be charged with murder and criminally negligent homicide, amongst other allegations in the 32 count indictment. Officers responded to a call about a person put McClain, a massage therapist, in a chokehold, and paramedics later injected him with ketamine, a powerful sedative, on the night of August 24th, 2019. After McClain had brought iced tea at a corner store, authorities said he died about a week later. Although not unheard of, changing the original cause of death is rare. And Ian Farrell, associate law professor at the University of Denver, in order for there to be a second autopsy, you have to have had some reason to think that there is a problem with the first one, he said. The five named in the indictment will be arraigned November 4th in Adams County District Court, officials said. They are Aurora police officers Nathan Woodyard, Randy Roderma, former officer Jason Rosenblatt, and paramedics Jeremy Cooper and Peter Honig Weiser's office declined to comment, and attorneys for the defendants could not be reached. Ooh. Is that it, or is there more? Okay, there's more. The new autopsy report was released to the public after Colorado Public Radio filed a lawsuit against the Adams County Coroner's Office for denying the news organization's request for a copy of the amended report. Ooh. Colorado-based media and First Amendment attorney Steve Landsberg, who filed the lawsuit on behalf of Colorado Public Radio, said the new report could play a key role should the McClain case go to trial. The prosecution team will argue in court about the coroner's office initially reached a conclusion that wasn't initially well informed, he said. And the defendants will argue that the Attorney General's office persuaded or twisted the arm of the coroner's office, and that the original autopsy was accurate. The original autopsy would not have made it impossible to get a conviction, but presented a hurdle, said Farrell, who is not involved in the McClain case. I think anyone can plausibly argue that if Mr. McClain had just been allowed to walk home that night, he wouldn't, I guess it's supposed to say he wouldn't have died, he said. So at least in some sense, the defendants, caused his death by things they did from a legal point of view. McClain had just come out of the store where he had brought iced tea when he was stopped by police responding to a call of a suspicious person wearing a ski mask and waving his hands. McClain usually wore a ski mask because of a blood condition that made him feel cold, according to the family. The officers questioned him and then grabbed him with one of the officers, though McClain was reaching for a holstered gun. McClain was reaching for a holstered gun. Authorities said officers applied a corduroy control hold. A type of chokehold meant to restrict blood to the brain to render a person unconscious. Paramedics called to the scene and injected McClain with ketamine to sedate him. Inside an ambulance, about 3 minutes later, McClain did not have a pulse, went into cardiac arrest, according to the report released later that year by the then District Attorney Dave Young. Medics were able to relieve McClain, but he was declared brain. Oh my God. Wow. That's serious. He was discovered brain dead and taken off life support less than a week later. Ooh. All right, so what are your thoughts, Lady Che? Lady Che?
Yeah, I'm right here. Well, I have a question. didn't the mother already plea out or not plea out, but accept the settlement?
Yeah, I believe that's
So
like $4 million or something.
right, so she don't got nothing to do. She's not gonna benefit from this now.
No,
Okay,
not
that's all I wanted to know because that
okay.
was fucked up. She shouldn't have did all that. She should have just the fact that we knew that they killed him with the ketamine.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was already a fact. They've been saying they've been using that shit in jail, in the Arapahoe County jail because I seen it with my own goddamn eyes.
mm,
Two, uh, I don't like how they did this second. They putting it out there with the second autopsy that they changed it. That's that right there should be brought up again, court. Um, are they so? Is this for the lawsuit against DPD or the paramedics?
not DPD, APD.
APD, I mean APD, or Repo.
Um, I believe it's for all the above. I think it's for APD and the paramedics.
And my other thing is this: is that yeah, they made that chokehold that they basically the police put them in a sleeper hold, for
Mm,
layman terms. Yeah, you
yeah,
know what I mean. They just
yeah.
wanted to restrict the blood flow to put his ass to sleep.
Uh,
Ultimately we know how APD and DPD are when they
yeah,
get their chances to use their body weight and force against a person not as big as them, or the fact that they can get away with basically killing somebody. I mean, we know how they operate. I mean,
yeah,
he wasn't I mean, who can really withstand the pressure like that? You know what I mean? I don't think anybody could really withstand that. A big ass motherfucker can get choked out by a little person. So I think that I don't want to say that. I don't want to make him seem like he was small. I don't want to make him seem that way. What I'm trying to say, I guess what I'm trying to say is this. They fucked up. We knew they fucked up. We've been saying they fucked up. It's been said they fucked up. And now they're bringing it up, and then the mother took a fucking settlement. I think she should have held out. She's basically at this point holding out for fucking. It was holding out for money, but now are we gonna see the justice of
right.
it all? Because they're changing. Colorado's trying to change the sedative shit right now as we speak in the
Yeah,
last few weeks. So they're trying to go from a ketamine sedative to something lesser than. But then if you're watching the news at the same time, you'll see that there are places that offer mental health therapy, and that therapy is coming through a ketamine relaxation fucking shit, all in the same week. So it's like, which one is it? You know what I mean? So
right.
I pay attention to all that. I think that for Elijah McClain, I don't want to say his mama, I want to say his grandmama, because she's decent. Um, for Elijah McClain, he needs justice for sure. He didn't get no justice, and they lied on it. They lied. You know what I mean? Jesse,
Yeah. Yes, I'm here.
sit up straight, cuz, please.
I am.
Looks like you're falling asleep from this angle.
I'm not.
What's the next topic? Or what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, we told you so. We've been saying this for the longest. It just confirmed everything we've been saying for the past 2-3 years. That they killed
Did,
him. It was the ketamine that killed him. And
was it just Elijah McClain's mother that benefited from that settlement?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know all the details of that. I've been trying to meet with his grandma to get the details of that, and I haven't been able to.
Uh, right. I'm ready for the next one.
So the next topic is rest in power to Elijah McClain, by the way, and
Yes, he needs peace.
go out to his family. Uh, Colorado becomes the first state to accept Bitcoin as payment for taxes. So, this article.
Hey, you remember that one time? So it said, can they just accept Bitcoin? Accept Bitcoin right now for reparations, and it's turned down hard. It's like, no. We need cash payments because
Yeah.
Bitcoin is like unstable.
Yes, I remember that.
All right, carry on. That was funny. I just had to remember. I had to laugh about that because that shit was hilarious then.
Mm-hmm. Let me share my screen. Read this Denver Post article. Okay. Colorado accepts cryptocurrency to pay taxes, moving the state tech forward. Polis says state is making good on promise to taxpayers. Oh Lordy, there we go. There's the
I don't see
Bitcoin.
how this shit is so unstable.
Governor Jared Polis said Coloradans can pay their taxes using cryptocurrency, making good on a plan he announced earlier this year. As of right now, the state of Colorado is officially accepting cryptocurrency as a payment option for all taxes, Polis said. We're not talking about this. We've been talking about this for a while. We said we would deliver by the end of the summer, and we have. Polis made the announcement Monday during a news conference that kicked off the 11th annual. Ooh, I forgot something. I forgot to do something, Black family. The copyright. Oh, fair use.
Fair use since the start of this program at 10:30.
Okay, let me get back to the article. What is that article? Okay, Polis made the announcement Monday during a news conference that kicked off the 11th annual Denver Startup Week. He said the payment program which began September 1st, is an example of Colorado being tech forward. Coloradians can use digital currency to pay taxes of all kinds, personal and business income, withholding, sales and use, severance, and exercise fuel taxes. The state will operate our own ledgers in dollars. Taxpayers would pay with crypto will see their transactions converted to dollars, Polis said. The Polis administration has said Colorado is the first state in the country that has started accepting cryptocurrency to pay taxes. Department of Revenue spokesman Daryl Carr said the state of Ohio has a pilot program a few years ago. Had a pilot program a few years ago. Oh, crap. Where am I at? I'm sorry. The Polis administration has said Colorado is the first state in the country that started accepting cryptocurrency to pay taxes. Department of Revenue spokesperson Daniel Carr said the state of Ohio has a pilot program a few years ago. We didn't proceed with accepting the digital currency. Utah lawmakers approved a bill this year to authorize using cryptocurrency to make payments to participating government agencies and political subdivisions, said Heather Morton, who works on cryptocurrency and digital assets issues for the National Conference of State Legislatures. The Ohio legislation directs the State Division of Finance to contract with a third party on January 1st, 2023 to set up the process. Morton said in an email, a 2019 Colorado law authorized the state to accept digital currency for taxes, she added. The Colorado Department of Revenue website has been modified to add cryptocurrency as a payment option when paying taxes online. People will be directed to PayPal, where they can select which cryptocurrency they want to use. The service fee is $1 plus 1.83% of the payment amount. Tax refunds won't be issued in cryptocurrency. Carr said the volatility in the values of cryptocurrency doesn't raise concerns about going forward with the program. We are using PayPal cryptocurrencies hub to accept all payments via cryptocurrency, and they adjust for whatever the accepted cryptocurrencies values are in real time. There is no risk to the states or to the state, Carr said in the email. Okay, that was interesting. What are your thoughts, Lady Che, on Colorado accepting cryptocurrency to pay taxes?
Well, sorry, I had to grab some water, family. I put it like this. I just kind of wonder, so is everybody going to have to get informed, educate themselves on cryptocurrency, pay taxes? And
I think they're just giving an option for people that want to pay. It's people that want to pay for their taxes, and they're saying that if they're using it through PayPal, that they have that option of using cryptocurrency.
I feel like we here at Front Line Blacc News need to research that better. The fact is that I myself don't only know what I heard about it, and what I heard is nothing good as far as negatives, and it's like unstable. It's like just I don't even know. It just I don't know how anybody's. I just don't understand it. Because I've seen it go up and down, up and down. It's kind of stable. And there's different things going on with it as far as shares and whatever. It's crazy. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's a good thing. I don't know how that's really tech forward if it's not stable, and it as far as especially with stocks,
Right.
I don't understand it. So I feel like I feel like before I can really speak on, I don't feel like it's a good thing. I feel like it's just my negatives, me personally, in my opinion. I feel like I need to research it more before I actually just really truly stand on my gut feeling of it being a bad feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least I would say, in the least, Governor Polis is making a fucking attempt to better certain situations. However, what's the real agenda behind it? I have no idea.
Right.
They don't feel good to me. It don't feel good to me, and it don't, to me, so far, just from the article, a couple of contradicting things in it, and it was a hard read. I'm more concerned about this Tabor money that you and I could not receive. You know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of things that have happened that don't benefit us. I'm more concerned about that, because we should be able to receive certain things that everyone else gets because we live on the poverty line
We're below the
with
poverty.
no, no children, and with below excuse me, I'm sorry, below the poverty line with no children, no, what I mean. We're just basically still unhoused, minus that we're just on a thing, you know what I mean, a voucher. If you didn't have the voucher, it'd be on the house still, you know what I mean. Um, so I kind of more interested about that because I feel like that portion, that thing, and certain other like basic income, all that other stuff is kind of went out the doors and only specifically provides for certain individuals. And this is another thing, family. So while all that is good and fine and dandy, there's a specifics, right? You specifically have to be qualified to receive that, right? So why turn your back on the specifically for Black people looking agenda? You see how that works?
Yeah.
Man. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Jesse. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna keep y'all updated on what's happening with this cryptocurrency being used to pay for taxes.
What do you think about it?
I think it's I think we're moving to a cashless society. That's what I think. I think it's just the first step in many steps. First step toward many steps of moving us toward a cashless society.
And my question: what does anybody think about that? Like, if the satellites shut down, we don't know electricity, no nothing, and everything gets shut down electronically, then what? Like, what are they prepared to do since they don't want to deal with cash no more? And what's to say if the banks don't wipe themselves out digitally? Whatever money you had in there is now digital.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. There's nothing saying. You could say all day long, well, my statement says, you know what I mean. But if you don't physically have no cash or no assets, if something was to occur like that, you'd really be fucked.
Here's the thing: the bank is not obligated to have your money.
Right.
You're just trusting them that they're gonna have your money.
That
So,
part.
and if all that stuff did go down, it's not on the bank. But they're not obligated to have your money. That's why we're suggesting here on Front Line Blacc News, you take your money out the bank, you put it in a mattress, you put it in the wall, you put it in the backyard, you put it somewhere besides in the damn bank, because it's going down, Black family. And at this rate, it looks like it before Christmas.
Real shit. I mean, it's going down quickly. And the fact of recovery. I mean, they don't even talk about recovery, but let's see factor recovery. Look, if they said that it were getting close out of the pandemic and we're recovering 2 years later from it, I mean, what's to say we're gonna recover from a fucking like a total digital wipeout just to restart? Everything's moving into a digital world, but you got to factor in what runs the digital, what keeps the digital running, what satellites, electricity, et cetera, whatever.
Yeah.
Magic fucking school dust. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, when they want to play the game, they could shut it all. They could just lift the switch, push the orange button, code red, beep, you're all dead. Then we're walking around outside like this. Oh, it's bright out here. With nothing because your money's in the bank.
Moving toward everything being controlled by AI, artificial intelligence.
If AI can make a rap album, we're heading for a downfall.
Mm-hmm.
Real shit.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead, Mayor Paris, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm gonna move us on to our next topic, and that is Black DPD officer is now issues complaint against DPD. DPD is Denver Police
You're cutting
Department.
in and out over here in the back.
I don't know what to do about that. Can you hear me now?
He said, it's a DPD officer issuing, was it 23 counts of all kinds of stuff about suing the police department.
Yeah, I don't. It's not a lawsuit. She's just issuing a complaint. So she's not suing them yet. She's just like, Lost Lady Che. Okay, hold on. Okay, welcome back, Lady Che.
Sorry, I got kicked out. Black family. The Black House has the unstable internet. It's the whole building, not just the Black House. Go ahead. I'm this shit is heavy, family.
So this is from 7 News out of Denver. Complaints. Sergeants alleges systemic patterns and practices of discrimination within Denver PD. Harvard told News Denver 7 the complainant is blowing the whistle on DPD's culture. Here's the video. Turn this up. Make this full screen. Here we go.
Police Sergeant filing a complaint accusing DPD of retaliation after she raised concerns over gender and racial discrimination within the department.
Today, Sergeant Carla Havard sat down with Denver 7 CB Cotton for her only television interview, where she shared why she's now coming forward.
Carla Havard wears the badge and has achieved rank at the Denver Police Department.
I was called to this profession. I'm in my 24th year.
But she says passion and achievement didn't protect her.
The systems are inherently filled with misogyny, sexism, and racism.
Havard says this complaint filed by her attorney this month with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is her blowing the whistle on the culture of the Denver Police Department.
Women and Black officers are still not treated well in the Denver Police Department.
The complaint contends one should look no further than this Women's Collective Memorandum, completed in September of last year. The collective is an initiative by DPD to get feedback from its women officers. In it, statements like this: my sergeant regularly caresses and plays with my hair and rubs my back.
Wow.
And when a female officer was being brought into our unit, several officers were discussing her sex life.
Ooh.
Howard says she spoke out.
It's kind of robotic on my end.
Protect these women.
Okay.
When I started being vocal against their narrative, I started seeing retaliation.
Howard says after sounding off, many of her tasks pertaining to community engagement and diversity, equity, inclusion were reassigned, but portions of her identity remained in use by others.
You don't want me involved, but you want to present this false narrative to the community of my involvement.
The complaint also says after making herself heard, Havard was placed on a performance improvement plan. One her attorney says was retaliatory in nature because it included no solutions for improvement. The court doc also states when Havard tried to take her concerns to DPD's Civilian Oversight Agency, there were conflicting interests, and she was called a, quote, angry Black woman by someone tasked with investigating her concerns. Havard says she's speaking out for others.
I'm going to do this as long as I can because I'm going to save someone in this role, whether they admit it or not.
We reached out to the Denver Police Department. The agency declined to comment on the complaint. A spokesperson, however, did point us to a series of diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives the department is currently trying to undertake. Reporting live, I'm CB Cotton, Denver 7.
CB, thank you.
All right. Hold on, I'm bringing it back in.
All right, Black family.
Yeah, so I just played the video on that. What are your thoughts?
Okay, in the screen sharing.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, my thing is this. That's pretty heavy. Well, we watched it the other night. I thought that was crazy, but this is nothing unusual. Uh, she, it's kind of confusing. I kind of wonder why it took why now. Is it because of the Chief Payson resigned? I mean, does that have something to do with it?
Yeah, it might be.
I mean, because we got a new chief interim. Is that what they call him? Chief interim.
Yeah.
He's black, but I don't think I say but. I didn't mean to say but. And um, is this what? Why 23 different people or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was heavy. It's heavy. Why did it wait so long? Why didn't she take it to the mayor? Is it going to be one of those scenes where DPD handles it internally and then finds a way to push the sister out like they
Yeah.
did with the Aurora police chief? You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
Because, regardless of what people think, it's a lot of race soldiers and motherfucking supremacists um in this police thing. And so just pushing the boundaries of standing up for yourself and say, hey man, this shit was uncool, whatever, this is what I want to do, I want to file this report with the web. They face the retaliation like she said, and she's gonna face more retaliation, because not only because she's a woman, but because she's a sister. And how they frown upon that. Even though she's made it to a certain level, it could just be like the other lady in Aurora where she was trying to stand her ground and not give in to the retaliating and the fucking into the bullshit. But they went so fucking they were so hostile with her in Aurora, where they were just like, I'm not coming to work if she stays. I don't, they remember all those white officers that were like avidly raising hell against that white lady that was the chief in Aurora.
Mm-hmm.
And then she ended up retiring only after, I guess, some other comments made towards another white lady in city council happened. You know what I mean? And she ended up having to go.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But it was a Karen that really made it go.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be like that too, where this sister's saying blah blah blah, and she's already getting the retaliation factor. But when the white officers and some even the show fucking voting black deputies all stand in one alignment, is she gonna have to go too because they don't like the retaliation or they don't like what she's saying, and they gotta single her and the others out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's the outcome? What's the goal? Also, too, that wasn't really clear to me. Like, what was the goal? What's the goal after this? Like, what's the outcome? What are they seeking?
What did they?
Yeah,
I don't. She didn't say. She didn't say
yeah. You see,
any dollar amount. She didn't say, what she would like to see. She's just like, this is what's happening. I'm following a complaint about it. Y'all need to do something about it. Pretty much.
yeah. So she didn't even have like something in mind. Like, I want X X X X and X and X and X fucking fired, demoted, punished, thrown in jail, or I'm seeking financial compensation for whatever. Or it's kind of empty, isn't it? Like, I feel like there's a piece missing there. Although we don't. Sorry to see this happen to you. But I
Yeah.
was, I'm like, you're the lot. You're with them. You're with the
Still
fucking
have.
law. So I'm sorry
Still.
to see this happen to you all.
Still. HCFTD and twice on Tuesday.
Right. So I can't really be truly on your side. Like, I'm not really with it because you're still part of the shit that you're still part of the fucking corruption in the system that is actively keeping our people in this state of fucking emergency.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get the shoulder shrug and the okay. I don't care if you're a woman or not. When you actively signed up on the fucking thing against our people, the motherfucking you're signed up in the line of white supremacy.
24.
You cater to them. You can't do what's right. But all of a sudden now you're a victim. All right,
Yeah.
all right. You know what I mean? Like, hey, no woman should get hit on and or fucked with at their job. What's the motivation behind this now? And what type of retaliation was she talking about or did she receive? Because everything's kind of just like 10 seconds of news and not a whole thing. So how can we really be like how you want the people's empathy if you didn't give up a lot to or you didn't say what's really cracking? You know what I mean? Like, and you why are this person for the rest of the individuals or what? Like, what's really cracking with that? And or me and Mr. Paris gonna have to go dig deep and find out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we'll keep y'all updated on what's happening with Sergeant Carla Harvard of the DPD, Denver Police Department.
What do
And
you think about it, Jesse? You're running for mayor.
I think it just gives me more reason. This is more reason to abolish the police. You got somebody from the inside that's saying there's an issue here, and that culture has to change. And the only way that culture is going to change is by getting rid of these mugs. So I think this has helped my case of abolishing the police. Yeah.
Facts.
So I'm gonna move to our last two topics of the night, and that is Unhoused Neighbor News and Unhoused Neighbor Sweeps. So the sweeps continue. Sweeps still go on 3 times a week at least, and now the Westward just came out with an article that says that the city might be in violation of violating the Ray Lyle, rest in peace, Ray Lyle, lawsuit, which gave encampments notice of a sweep. Large encampments got 7 days notice, and small encampments get 2 days notice. They're in violation. So I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna read this article real quick. Okay, so it's Westward. Brother getting swept right there. The city of Denver has been.
It's not sure.
I don't know. It's sharing. It's probably delayed on your end. Should be sharing.
Okay.
The city of Denver has been violating the terms of the legal settlement over homeless sweeps, according to a prominent civil rights lawyer who worked on that agreement. It's coming from the top that folks that Carte Blacc bade to get people out of public space as fast as possible by any means necessary, says Andy McNulty, a lawyer with Kilmer, Lane, Newman, LLP. On September 21st, McNulty sent a letter to Michael Hancock, city attorney Christian Bronson, and all members of Denver City Council, charging that violations of the agreement have increased in severity to the point that it is widely acknowledged among service providers and advocates that the brutality of the tactics being employed by Denver have not been seen since before the entry of the Lyle settlement agreement. Some of these tactics have included intimidation, threats, and assault. All of the actions of Denver, its official, its contractors described in this letter are completely unacceptable. Oh, shit. I went too far. In 2016, attorneys working on behalf of homeless plaintiffs filed a class action suit in federal court related to homeless encampments sweeps. The Lyle settlement agreement was finalized in 2019. Ooh, that's when I ran for city council at large. It stated that the city, to extend reasonably possible, shall give at least 7 days notice prior to large-scale sweeps. This notice has to be written according to the agreement, which adds that Denver could conduct large-scale sweeps with less than 7 days notice only if the city determines that a public health or safety risk exists, which requires it. The agreement also requires the city to place a 24-hour, 48-hour notice on unattended items rather than remove them, as long as those items did not pose a threat or did not pose a health and safety risk. Belongings taken by the city during sweeps were to be kept at the storage facility. We already broke down that storage facility and how difficult it is for people to get there, and how even if you can get there, you have to go through the police to get your belongings back. Despite these explicit requirements, I have received widespread reports of Denver officials and contractors not providing any notice whatsoever sweeps, providing only oral notice, providing notice that is lesser than the prescribed 7-day, 48-hour notice requirements, sometimes as little as 5 minutes before. And even then, even when proper notice is provided, showing up early to begin sweeps prior to the time listed on the written notice. McNulty wrote, listing 16 separate occasions since March during which the city of Denver allegedly violated the specific terms of the Lyle settlement. Damn, I'm going to read all this. Where are we at? Okay, just read that. The agreement also requires the city to place a 48-hour notice on unattended items. Okay, read that. I'm above that. Additionally, McNulty wrote that he has received credible reports that Denver and its contractors discarded unhoused individuals' property, including important identification documents, medications, and items necessary for survival outside, without even the pretense of storing it on 17 occasions since March. In his letter, he also stated that he received reports of multiple occasions when the city's storage facility was not open during the hours it was supposed to be accessible. The storage facility is across the street from the principal building, public defender's office, and the failure of the facility to keep its hours is so prevalent that Chief Public Defender Alice Newman regularly provides the office's own handout explaining when the facility is supposed to be open. McNulty wrote, many of the alleged violations of the Loud Settlement Agreement have occurred since May 3rd, when the 10th Circuit U.S. Supreme Court of Appeals ordered a preliminary injunction stemming from another lawsuit related to sweeps be vacated. That preliminary injunction, which was spurred by a 2020 Denver homicide law lawsuit filed by McNulty, had initially upped the requirement the city must abide by when sweeping encampments. Aside from requiring 7 days notice before sweeps, the preliminary injunction penned by Judge William J. Martinez in January 2021 ordered that the city of Denver provide at least 48 hours notice between sweeping encampments in exigent public health and safety circumstances. The panel of 3 judges from the appeals court ordered that the ruling be vacated on the grounds that the Loud settlement precluded the homeless plaintiffs in the D-Hole case from receiving a remedy. The Loud settlement agreement had released Denver from a broad range of due process liabilities. I'm sorry. The settlement agreement had released Denver from a broad range of due process liabilities related to homeless sweeps. 2 of the judges stated in their opinion. The appeals court then declined a request by McNulty to have the full appeals court adjudicate the matter. It seems like this pattern of intimidation and just disrespect for unhoused folks' rights is escalating, and it has been over the summer, particularly since the 10th Circuit's decision about preliminary injunction, McNulty says. And those incidents weren't even the worst of it. According to him, I received numerous reports that once a posted sweep is completed, the crew involved in that sweep will roam the city, seeking out other encampments that have not been posted for a sweep. to harass the encampment. This harassment almost always includes seizure of property, but it also includes verbal bullying, intimidation, and other inappropriate behavior from Denver's officials and contractors. Denver officials and contractors will tell unhoused neighbors that they are unhoused individuals that they have 5 minutes to leave an area or all their property will be seized and destroyed. McNulty wrote in a letter asserting that specific homeless individuals have been targeted due to personal grudges and vendettas held by city employees. Damn. The letter highlighted one incident in which a Denver contractor allegedly pushed over a fence panel on an unhoused person and two advocates using a bobcat. Wow. And another is which a Denver official threatened an advocate with a shovel while saying, I'll hit her. The most egregious example, McNulty wrote, involved a Denver official allegedly punching a homeless individual who does not speak English fluently and was given 5 minutes to pack up all of his belongings during a sweep. I felt like I had to do something, McNulty said. This is the first step in doing something to make sure that Denver follows through with the lawsuit agreement. Jenny Castor, Mayor Michael Hancock's press secretary, issued a statement on behalf of the mayor's office. We have always respected and will continue to abide by the terms of law settlement and how 7-day posted large encampment and covenant cleanups are conducted, including notifications and storage of belongings. Bullshit. Outside of the Lao settlement, there are other city ordinances we continue to enforce, such as unlawful camping and trespassing. Other public safety issues and hazards are also routinely addressed, such as when the fire hazards or public safety, public health, or environmental risks are present. Without question, we expect that all city employees treat everyone with respect. We are confident that city employees and city contractors do just that. In addition to reminding our teams about legal parameters of the law settlement, we also consistently reinforce the need to treat our unhoused residents humanely and with dignity. Yeah, damn, skipping. There's an article. We don't have time to read it, but yeah, that's it right there. All right, what are your thoughts, Lady Shay?
Well, look, we've been saying this for a while. This is nothing new. When the contracts got extended for the people to come do the sweeps, they were a mad violation. They've been violating the unhoused neighbors. We've been saying it. The sweeps are fucking are just mass traumatic experiences, I guess we'll use those words. They're really fucked up. I myself can speak from it just for 5 years of fucking living through it.
Mm-hmm.
The settlement or the case that you're talking about, I remember you working on it, and I remember me signing something to where I was supposed to be a defendant, I guess, or whatever, and talking about the shit that the fucking police do all the time, because the police are actively committing these fucking atrocities. I know the police crushed my chair. The police almost ran me over with the fucking bobcat. The police made me fucking walk when I couldn't. and they knew it. The police don't have no regard. They move you, they move you, they move you. They sweat you, they sweat you, they sweat you. This shit has been going on. What the fuck is Mayor Hancock talking about? He's the one that fucking um perpetuates the bullshit. You talk about treating the unhoused humanely. You locked almost fucking 1,000, 1,300 up this summer.
Yep, at Union Station.
At Union Station, you continuously locking up people um on the premise of fucking whatever. They don't come out of jail. Not immediately anyway. What else? What about the misappropriated funds of fucking where these people are? Why there's so many outside? What about because now that we got football games and all kinds of fucking touristy shit happening in the city right now, you're moving all the unhoused neighbors way further out so that they're not seen and hinders your financial pocketbook. Let's talk about that. Um, so yeah, this article is just it's shit. It's shit. That's all I gotta say. Carry on, Jesse. We're about to close the show. As far as the sweeps go, they continue to happen. We're paying attention. We're watching. We're it's hard to do the right thing when you got political shields trying to come out and all of a sudden be doing something. So we gotta still maintain the shit that we're doing, the work that we're doing, and keeping it in focus for the unhoused neighbors in regards to all the pretty little ducks wanting to come outside and take care of some shit. Right? So
Yeah.
right. So that's all I gotta say right now since we gotta close this show out for
Yeah.
my partner over there falls asleep on us. Okay, real quick. Join us for the RVA. It will happen here shortly. Later on in the morning. It's gonna happen. Transfer now incredibly in-depth version of the RVA. It will go live here in a couple hours. Also tap into Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced on Tuesdays on Blog Talk.
Yeah.
Donate to the campaign if you can. Anything will be helpful as long as you're a Denver resident. That would be a rip. That would be tight considering we are looking for you to support. So you shouldn't have to be reminded. You shouldn't have to be forced to or coerced. Just do the right thing.
Right.
Do the right thing. But now's a good time to donate whatever you can, whether it be $5 or $10. It's whatever. But be of Denver. Check out the website. Read. Reading is fundamental, and do it. There will be an event coming up. Jesse has an event coming up. So stay tuned for the flyer for that. And come out and support him. And there's other news, but we don't have time tonight. It's already getting late. We got big days tomorrow. So stay tuned for the RVA, though. I will be bringing that to you in a couple hours. I got lots to talk about, and we're going to go hard. So stay tuned for that. And stay black, stay dangerous, and most of all, be aware and don't let this shit with the FBA task force hinder the process. So everybody get on point and pay attention. It's like double talk going on in the media, so pay attention. Anything else, Jesse? I'm done. Stay black, stay dangerous. Much love, family.
Yeah, so thank y'all for tuning into season 2, episode 28 of Front Line Blacc News. Please make sure you donate to the campaign. It's going on the bottom of the screen. Make sure you check us out on other platforms. Frontline Blacc News every Saturday at 10 p.m. The Revolutionary Agenda anytime now. Let me bring Lady Che back in. The Revolutionary Agenda anytime now. Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And yeah, Peace, love, light, and Black empowerment. We're out.